So moments ago, you just said Steve Nash decided he wanted out. So that's the mutual part about it? Walk me through what you know about the departure of Steve Nash from this franchise this past week.
Rich, this is one of the few times where I believe the statement from a team where Sean Marks and Steve Nash sat down, as Mark said, and just said, you know what, this is not working. And I can just tell you that since I got there in January, I can't stress enough how much the off-the-court stuff was weighing on Nash. All the drama. And it's not just on Kyrie, of course. This summer, I mean, that was just wild. You don't see those type of stories with Durant asking for the trade, then reportedly asking for Nash and Marks to be fired, and then pulling the trade back. All of that, not just in the last couple of days, but over the last couple of years, was weighing on him. You talk to people in the organization, they would tell you that they'd see Steve, and you used to seeing this mild-mannered guy who's walking around with a smile on his face, and you see him up at those press conferences, and you can just tell that he's sitting there going, what the hell am I doing in this mess? Because so much of it was not about basketball. It was about stuff going on off the floor. Now, I know Nash is competitive, and I know how badly he wanted to be able to turn things around. But I think there's a lot of relief there that he's not in the middle of this mess. Because, Rich, I've been covering the league 15 years now. I've never seen a more dysfunctional team in my life.
Wow.
Ever.
What sort of information can you divulge here about the off the court stuff that you want to just jump out here with on that?
Well, I think for me it's in comparison to what I've seen covering things in the past. I had the end of the Tibbs, Derrick Rose, Garam Pax Bulls. I saw up close the Jimmy meltdown in Minnesota, the last year of KD with the Warriors and how messy that got over time. This is different, though, because this is a whole bunch of drama that builds up and seemingly builds on itself. And the example here is forget the Kyrie stuff and the Kevin Durant stuff for a moment. They acquired Ben Simmons. He didn't play all of last year. He comes back, and this just adds to the dysfunction internally. He's not the same player. And now he's got a swollen knee, and that's after he had back surgery over the summer. And you've added a max player who's not living up to his max contract, and you're putting another layer of just seemingly basketball craziness to a team that was built to win a championship. And we've heard the Ime Udoka reports, and Woj has reported it, and that seems to be hanging now. In the next day or two, we could get word. But to add a coach who is currently suspended by another NBA team to take over a team that many thought was going to fall apart and they'd have to press the button on a rebuild over the summer, it just makes you shake your head and you realize that great teams in the league, they have camaraderie and they make move after move that helps the move before it. This Nets team, Rich, they don't have camaraderie, and they have made move after move that have eroded at the culture they had before they made the decision to land KD and Kyrie. But I'd say this, it's a decision that everybody in the league would have made given the same set of circumstances a few years ago. But it has exploded in a way here in Brooklyn, the likes of which the NBA hasn't seen in a long time.
But, I mean, Nick Friedell here from ESPN, you said moments ago that the young kids look up to Kyrie in the locker room. They lionize him in the locker room. So what's the dysfunction in the locker room? Is it Durant and Kyrie together? Is that what was weighing over this summer on top of Steve Nash that eventually built up to the point where he mutually wanted out?
Yeah, I think it was all of it. And KD is still one of the very best players in the game. I don't think that anybody is questioning how hard he works or how much he wants to be out there. Rich, it's just a combination of all these factors off the floor. And I think the hardest part, not only for the players, but the people inside the organization, the people that are working in their day-to-day, you're seeing all this stuff and you're seeing all the headlines and all the drama build, And absolutely it weighs on you. As much as you try to push everything off, I mean, I'll give you another example. The other night against the Bulls, Kyrie had 4 points. Kyrie averages 30 a game. For all the stuff that happens off the floor with Kyrie Irving, what people around the league have always respected is that no matter what was going on off the floor, when the lights came on, you knew he would dominate most nights, and you knew he would be there and put up the numbers that he's always put up. That didn't happen the other night. And I think what you started to see early in this season is all the frustration and all that drama that built in the summer, and let's go back to the end of last season, getting swept by the Celtics and all the uncertainty with Kyrie back on the floor on a full-time basis because of the vaccination stuff in New York. All of that lingered, and they thought they had all these good vibes, and it was legitimate for a few weeks in training camp, but it all disintegrated because they lost games. The decision was made on Nash, and now you've got this extra layer of the Kyrie stuff with these social media posts. And I think everybody in that organization is looking around at each other going, what in the hell is going on? And, Rich, then on top of all this, you've got all the stuff with Udoka that could potentially be coming. So it's a soap opera in pro sports, the likes of which I've never seen. But I do think that all of those different storylines and all of the things that have played out have absolutely impacted all of the good feelings that they were trying to build up before the season began.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.